Welcome back to the Thrive Homes and Estates Thriving Agent Success System training. Let's start by reviewing your action list from the last training. Number 1 was assembling your database of contacts. If you haven't completed that, that should be done daily until all of your contacts are uploaded into your CRM. And please read the CRM how-to guide. Building your powerful referral network, or what we also refer to as the PRN. This is your database of contacts. Every agent starts with their existing contacts. That's everybody you know, your friends, your family, your neighbors, your social contacts, your past clients, etc. And those contact files are typically stored all over the place, in your desk, in your phone, on your laptop, in your computer, etc. And we want you to compile those and upload all of those into your CRM. In addition, we're going to be developing systems to bring new blood into your network on a regular basis. So you're going to start with your existing contacts and then build daily to add people to that database. That's your ultimate asset as a superstar or thriving agent. So today we're going to cover the concept of not being a commodity, building your network, the concept of the Superstar 100, bad habits of low producers, core competencies of superstar agents. We're going to discuss how to win friends and influence people, and we have some great reference material for you in that regard. Some how-tos on building your network, the campaign dialogue, valuable information to send clients, the 1, 2, 3, and the parting dialogue. So we'll start building your network from your existing contacts and then start working those contacts to create new blood into the system from the contacts of those contacts and systems to develop new leads. That's what's going to make up the ongoing system of building a powerful network of referrals. A commodity is a mass-produced, unspecialized product, or another definition is a good or service whose wide availability typically leads to smaller profit margins and diminishes the importance of factors such as brand name other than price. This is something we don't want you to be, but most agents are really commodities. There's hundreds of thousands of them in California alone and millions of them across the United States. There's over 400,000 agents. In fact, I'm going to correct this slide as I speak to you because we've just checked and now there's over 500,000 agents in California. It's an amazing number that's going to grow as the market continues to improve. But what we've seen in the past few years is almost 250,000 agents, 231,000 agents, either let their license expire or had their license revoked because they didn't pay their dues since November of 2007. So as you can see by this graph on this slide, that's a huge exodus of agents. You can get up and dance, it's okay, because this is opportunity. We want to seize the opportunity. The way we look at this is that's great. The market's tougher because it's been in a decline, but there's less competition for the agents that really know what they're doing. And the reality is, you, my friends, as you sit before me, are a commodity. What's worse is you're a commodity that typically, we have found, does not know how not to be a commodity because there's just so many agents. Even in the decline, there's a lot of agents. So we don't want you to be corn or pork bellies or orange juice, any of these commodities. So unless you learn how not to be corn by taking the actions necessary to add unique value and bond, you'll remain a commodity or leave the business. So we want you to wake up. You must refuse to be corn, pork bellies, orange juice, or just another real estate agent, or you'll suffer the consequences, which are very inconsistent income or no income. Therefore, you must take action. Take action. Build a network that refers you business on a regular and increasing basis. You must add value to their lives You must be held accountable, particularly by yourself. And if you allow me to coach you the way I'd like to, by me as well. You must be accountable to your daily productivity outputs, numbers, and metrics. With respect to your existing contacts, you want to promote them or demote them. If your existing friends or contacts do not view you as their go-to person for real estate, you need to give them the benefit of the doubt, connect and bond with them using our systems, and keep doing that until they do, or demote them. And this may sound a bit harsh, but how good a friend are they if they refer their friends to someone else other than you? And you'll learn how to help them get promoted in this training so you can save them from purgatory. The Superstar 100. This is an article in your online resource center that I'd like you to read, but I'm going to cover some of the basic concepts in it right here. That there's a connection between the number of contacts you make and the number of listings you generate. I have studied this with thousands and thousands of data entries in my own work and other agents that I've known. In addition, Keller Williams coaches revealed to me when I was at Keller Williams that they also found their numbers proved out to be about right, about 100 contacts to get a listing. It's also in Mike Ferry's original book about being a $1 million real estate agent he wrote in the 80s or 90s. So there's 3 sources right there for you. This is not a hard number. Of course, if you're really proficient and skilled, you can bring this number down. When you're new, it tends to go up. But the point here is that there is a connection between contacts, your outbound activity, and the listings you generate. So that's a fundamental fact we want you to be really clear about right now. Therefore, we have a KR tally sheet. It's a very simple Excel form, as you can see here in this slide, that you're going to use as a tally sheet manually. In your online resource center, we also have another version of this you can use as a hard copy. Our CRM, as you know, is under another update, and it'll calculate a lot of this information for you automatically. But in the meantime, we want you to track this daily. So if you look at this sheet right here, this tally sheet, it's calls to your network, that's your existing contacts, calls to new contacts, personal notes mailed, that would be sent or mailed today, dropping by a person's house or your Thrive merchant, etc., actually meeting somebody in person, having lunch or coffee with somebody, a breaking bread connection, meeting one of your Thrive vendors or merchants in their place of business. If you're doing cold door knocking or knocking on expireds, FSBOs, etc., that would be a cold door connection. Meeting with a buyer, meeting a home seller at their house in the preview or pre-list stage, and then you're tracking referrals, your listing presentations given, and listing taken. And then, of course, you're going to know this clearly, listings that you've taken today and that have turned into escrows, and buyer deals that have turned into escrows being open today. So not very many things here, just a few, but they're key outbound activity or productivity actions that we want to track, because we're going to help you create a roadmap that's connected to how much money you want to make in the next 12 months. The value of a no. So in this example, we're going to make a really interesting point, and I want to just walk you through a potential scenario. First is the average commission on the sale from one of your listings. And in this example, the sales price of the house is $950,000, and let's just say the commission is $17,500. You're going to have a number of buyer listings, buyer transactions as the result of being a listing agent and having listings. In other words, you'll get calls from buyers that are not represented. So there's a ratio there that we want to consider. In other words, how many buyer transactions are spun off from your listings? In this example, we're using 1 in 3, meaning you're going to get one buyer deal closed for every 3 listings. Assuming it's in the same marketplace, so the average commission there is $17,500. So what's the average commission from a buyer in each listing? Well, it's a third of that because it took 3 listings. So one listing is worth 1/3 buyer deal, or $5,833. So the average commission is the sum. The average commission generated by the listing is the sum of those two numbers, the 17 and the 5. So that's $23,333. And if it takes you 100 contacts to get a listing, you've had 99 no's. So if you take your commission, divide it by 99, you've got $235 in your pocket for every person you connect with, call, etc., that tells you no. So your rejections are valuable. This is a fundamental reality of the business, and this is how a dominant listing agent views the marketplace. How to make $1 million. Taking the metrics we just learned about in the Superstar 100 calculation, if you make 100 contacts a week, that's 20 contacts per workday, even if you only work 5 days a week. As your numbers catch up to you, you would generate 1 listing a week. That's 50 in a year with 2 weeks off for vacation. And if the average sales price of the home, which in Ventura County when this was done originally was $601,000, the average commission at 2.5%, the gross commission per deal is $15,000. Times that number is $751,000 in gross commission in the 12-month period. There is going to be a percentage of listings that are double-sided, where you represent the buyer, and a percentage of listings that spin off buyer deals that you sell them another piece of real estate that's not your listing. So when we take some very conservative assumptions on those two categories, we add in another 75 and 187,000, and the gross commission for the year is $1 million by doing 100 contacts a week. Now I know this at first glance, most agents say this sounds impossible or ridiculous, but these are the real numbers. We live in a high-priced market in Southern California, and all you have to do is take this training, take it to heart, execute it, do all the actions, and you're going to start making incredible money. The bad habits of low producers. They typically buzz around. They try this, they try that. They're kind of neurotic. They're often disorganized. They have shallow relationships with clients, contacts, and prospects, and they're often inefficient. The core competencies of thriving agents is the key insight is they know how to prioritize. On purpose, they're a man or a woman on a mission. They're master prospectors. They know how to rank their contacts so they can prioritize their time and their actions. This is a classic work written, I think it was originally written in the 30s, How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. I own several copies of this book, actually. It is a timeless book and fundamental to your success as a real estate agent, particularly coming from contribution, which is one of our benchmarks. For those of you that don't think you should read it, a few years ago there was a documentary, a meeting that was held with the University of Columbia Graduate School of Business that Warren Buffett attended, and he spoke to the graduating class and also had his buddy Bill Gates speak to them. So in that 1-hour session, the business school graduates got to sit and ask questions of the 2 richest people in the world. And what was really surprising in that meeting, you could find this probably on YouTube, it was on the business channels, was that one of the graduates asked Warren Buffett what advice they would give them. And of course, everybody was assuming he would tell them about being a value investor, stock investor, really study the companies and the management and all that great stuff about being a stock investor. But in fact, what he said is the first thing I would recommend is to learn how to speak to people. And he talked about taking a seminar about public speaking that Dale Carnegie's school had offered. And he referenced this book, How to Win Friends and Influence People. So here's the world's richest stock investor in the history of mankind, and his first recommendation is to take the teachings in Dale Carnegie's book and work and adopt them into their business practice, because you have to be great communicators. It was really interesting. Here are some highlights from Dale Carnegie's master work. 6 ways to make people like you. Number 1, become genuinely interested in other people. A sub note to that might be, do more listening than talking about yourself. You want to have genuine interest in other people. Number 2, smile. How simple is that? But how often we forget that. Number 3, remember that a person's first name is to that person the sweetest and most important sound in any language. You'll notice in upcoming trainings in the some of the dialogues, we don't prompt you in some of these scripts to ask for a person's first name, because you have to feel. I definitely think you should do that and do it on an ongoing basis, but particularly with your dialogues, it's hard to tell you in a scripted dialogue when it's appropriate to ask for their first name. So it can't really be in there because we don't want you to force it. But you should be getting a first name when you're, particularly with your cold calling, FSBOs, and expireds, when it feels right. And it could be as simple as, by the way, my name's Scott. Could I ask your first name, or would it be too appropriate? Would it be appropriate to ask your first name? So you want to just throw it in there naturally in the conversation. Going back to our list here. Number 4, be a good listener. Encourage others to talk about themselves. 5, talk in terms of the other person's interests. And 6, make the other person feel important and do it sincerely. All very common sense. There's no rocket science here, but these are things we should continue to take a look at from time to time, to remember, so that they become part of the way we communicate with people. It will really pay dividends for you. The key to wealth is very simple. It is to become more valuable. Devise ways to become more valuable to people's lives, and you will prosper. And again, this really relates to the benchmark of our training and our success system is coming from contribution, not coming from hardcore salesmanship. Building your powerful referral network. Systematic actions to stimulate and grow your referral network to make it powerful and profitable. We want you to do systematic actions, take action to stimulate and grow your network. And we want you to rank your people. You're going to find, once you get familiar with our CRM, the Customer Resource Management System or Contact Management System that we've custom built, that there's a way to rank people, A pluses, A's, B's, C's, and D's. And what we mean by that is these are the people you know best, and you're ranking them with the propensity of them to give you a referral. And you're going to start working your database from the inside out. You're going to start with the people you know the best. That makes it easier. Let's talk about the concept of what is really going on around you as it relates to getting leads and deals done. Just visualize this for a moment. You're standing in the middle of a network of deals happening now. So if you are any of the people in this graphic, you can quickly see that if there's not a deal happening with somebody you know directly, 2 or 3 generations from that person, it is a deal happening. In other words, the red people here are deals that are about to happen. So people you know people that are looking to buy and sell real estate. You're just not tapping into that existing network with several generations deep and becoming the go-to person. And that's what we want to train you to do. Here's another way to look at it. So you're the gold circle in the middle. The green people are the people you know best. Some of those are probably about to do a deal, so they've turned red. And then the next generation out, or the next degree of separation out, etc. So if you could just identify all of these contacts, just 1 or 2 generations beyond you, there are deals happening that you want to tap into. This is money waiting to be grabbed by you if you have the systems and skills and habits to go after them. The referral phenomenon. Let's step back from real estate for a moment. Have you ever told your friend about a good restaurant or movie? I think everybody has. You may have done it in the last few days. Have you been paid to do that? Of course not. It's just natural for humans to share when they have something they like, they love, they find exciting, they find great. It's just, you just can't wait to tell folks about it. It's a natural human trait. In our business, though, however, to refer a real estate agent to someone else, you must trust and have high confidence in that person to spread the word. They must trust you and think you're very competent. So we want you to rank the people in your CRM. As you have them uploaded, once they're up there, you want to go through and use the software to rank them in the following ways. The A pluses are your VIPs, your very important persons. These are the people that may have sent you referrals already or are your best advocates. You know them very well. They know you well. They trust you. They think you're competent. The A people, they haven't sent you any deals yet, but they are likely to refer you. B people are people that would refer you, but really don't think about you that way now if they were asked and shown how to refer you. You want to stop being a secret agent to those people. And the A pluses, A's, and B's make up typically a very large number of contacts for most real estate agents. The C people are people who might refer you in the future, and then we also consider new contacts that we have really no opinion about yet as C people. And those could be Thrive merchants in your marketplace, expired listings, for sale by owners, etc. The D people, and everybody has some Ds, unfortunately, are dead weight. These people need to be deleted from your database. And these people you may not know well, but when you reach out to them, it just doesn't go well. Get rid of them. We don't want bad karma. It's okay. Dump them. You must always be campaigning. Or another way to say it, you must always be prospecting. That is your main job as a real estate agent, particularly if you want to be a thriving agent or a superstar agent. Let's look at it this way. Politicians are always campaigning one way or another. So you must always be building, like a politician, your constituency, or they will vote for another agent. And what is your constituency? It is your network of contacts, your powerful referral network, and your Thrive target market, merchants and homeowners. So we want you to think about this like if you were running for Congress in a district, that's your market. You want to get out and get to know as much as you can every person in your district and go after their vote. So we want them to vote for you as the real estate agent, and that's going to make you wealthy. Everybody talks about real estate. If you're at a cocktail party, it's either interest rates or that home sold for this, or did you see what that celebrity bought or sold, etc. So we want you to add people to your powerful network daily as you go through your day. When you hear real estate come up, you want to involve yourself in those conversations. And we want you to use the dialogues and have them become a natural occurrence in your conversations. It doesn't have to be pushy. These are subtle reminders. But we don't want you to just hide the fact that you're an agent. You need to be comfortable talking about it and asking them questions in a very casual way, which we're about to train you on. So that brings me to the campaign dialogue. One of the key dialogues that needs to become just totally ingrained in you in a fundamental. And I want to walk you through it, for example. So let's say, for example, I'm at a cocktail party and I see somebody. Yeah, maybe I've met that person before, but I really don't know them well, and conversation's going okay. And then I get to this. By the way, if I could ask you, if you were thinking about moving, buying a new place or selling your existing home, or had a friend who was, do you have a real estate agent you would refer them to? I mean, somebody you could really trust. It's easy. It's casual. It flows with the conversation. Why is that natural? Because you should be of the mindset you can't wait to give new people fantastic service, get them a great deal, find them a great house, get them top dollar. It should be exciting for you. So we want you to use this dialogue to qualify and rank your existing and new contacts. It's imperative. And your consistent use of it will be directly correlated to your financial success. So again, the mindset of this dialogue is you can't wait to give their friends and associates your great service and skills when you ask somebody for referrals. For people that you know well, you just adjust it a little bit. If I could ask you, if you were thinking about moving, buying a new place or selling an existing home, or had a friend who was, am I the person you would refer them to? The answer to either one of these two variations on the campaign dialogue is a yes or a no. If it's a yes, I see. It's really important to have someone. By the way, what would it take for me to be that person? And you can say that with a little smile on your face or a little giggle, and do it in a lighthearted way. Because one thing we don't know is when they say, yeah, I would refer him to this guy I play golf with, Fred. We don't know how ingrained that relationship is, right? So we want you to throw that follow-up question in there. It's very important to maybe dig a little bit deeper. And obviously, if they say no, your comeback is obvious. Well, I really want to be that person. So the follow-up dialogue for I really want to be that person is, hey, by the way, time to time I come across insider real estate information that my clients find interesting, especially local market information. Would you like for me to send it to you? Great. What's the best place to send it? Get their snail mail address. Now, if something really special came up, what's the best number to reach you? So you want to get their most current phone number. Okay, great. I like to connect time to time with my favorite people. You're paying them a compliment. Continuing on here. By the way, if you know of anybody who's thinking about buying or selling a home, I would give him or her special treatment for you. And I'm never too busy for your referrals. Does anybody come to mind? For those people that are your best advocates, when it feels appropriate, ask them these questions. When you refer me, what do you say? How can I improve? And by the way, is there anything you need right now that I can help you with? You want to find out how your advocates view you, because it could tailor the way you communicate with future people. Well, we know the NFL is a contact sport. Hockey is a contact sport. Often the NBA is a contact sport. When a major league pitcher gets hit by a pitch, it's a contact, or a major league hitter gets hit by a pitch, it's a contact sport. These are obvious. Most folks don't think about being a superstar or thriving real estate agent as a contact sport, but it really is. It's just a different type of contact. You must always initiate the contact. You must always be campaigning to be that go-to person. Outbound contact must become a habit. It should become just natural for you. Consumers think of categories first and then fill in the brands. So therefore, they only have room for one or two agents in their mind. And to be successful in building a referral network, you must be at the top of mind consciousness for the majority of your contacts. You want to be the first person that comes to mind. You must maintain consistent contact with your A pluses, A's, B's in your PRN. And you want to keep contacting your C's until you promote them to B's or A's. I want to get back to this concept of consumers think of categories first and then fill in the brands. So, for example, if you and I were driving down the street and we felt like grabbing a burger and we're thinking, God, we don't have much time. Let's grab some fast food, although I don't recommend that, but let's just use this as an example. And you're thinking of a hamburger. What places would you think of? So most people will rattle off McDonald's, Burger King, maybe Carl's Jr., etc. They're going to quickly run out of names. So in this scenario, if you look at it, my question was, let's grab something to eat. I'm thinking about a burger. Burger is the category. McDonald's is the brand. Let's say we're sitting around the house watching a football game. And we say, gee, we're getting pretty hungry here, but we don't want to leave. Let's order a pizza. So where are we going to order from? Pizza Hut, Domino's, if we live in Thousand Oaks or the Conejo Valley, Toppers is one of the better ones, etc. Everybody has their local pizza places. But this is the way consumers operate. They think of a category first, pizza, then fill in Pizza Hut, Domino's. That is the way consumers think about product choices. And it's completely unconscious to them. And I think you could follow my logic. So as it relates to real estate agents, let's go back to that example in a cocktail party. Somebody might say, gee, I'm thinking about buying a new place. Do you know anybody good? Do you know a good real estate agent? So the category is real estate agent. And then the person they're speaking to might have a person or two that would come to mind. But they don't have 10. So if you're the third or fourth name on the list of real estate agents, it's not going to do you much good. You're not going to get any referrals. There's only room for one or two agents, one or two pizza places, one or two hamburger joints in consumers' mind. So you've got to be the go-to person, top of mind consciousness. And you do that by continue outbound actions that make it fun to do this business, but you keep reminding your network, your database, that you're the go-to person. And if you don't do that, you lose contact. They'll refer somebody out to your competition. Contact, connect, and bond. If you recall this graphic you see in our trainings that leads back to contact, connecting, bonding, building, and thriving, here are three components of that, the contact, connect, and bond as an overview. So number one, outbound calls. Number two, mailing valuable information. And number three, emailing e-reports. Those are all contact activities, but they're all outbound. Phone calls and sending things. Then we get deeper. 4, 5, and 6 are connecting by sending personal notes. That deepens the connection. Drop by their house or their business. That's a drop-by meeting. Dropping by merchants in your Thrive market, or setting up different types of meetings with Thrive vendors, or holding a business mixer. We're going to train you on these things in future trainings. And 8 and 9 is having lunch, coffee, or dinner with a client or prospect, and throwing a really fun client appreciation party. Yep, party. Time to get crazy. But that's when you really start to bond with your clients, when you take the relationship to a deeper and more fun level. So just wanted to give you this kind of bird's eye view of some of these concepts. So your outbound calls daily, typically in the morning, start with your database of contacts with the people you know best, your A pluses, your A's, and then getting into your B's. Any expired leads that you want to pull out of the CRM or FSBO leads. Other leads could be internet leads. Merchants that you have their phone numbers with that are in your Thrive market you're following up with. You want to document all the notes from those calls in your CRM. That helps us track your outbound calls. And of course, your CRM is designed to help you schedule further actions in the CRM, which could be a follow-up call, sending them a personal note, sending them some valuable information, sending them an e-report, doing a market analysis of their house, etc., etc. Part of our system is sending valuable information to your network. These are not recipes for chicken soup. They must be relevant, they must be current, they must not be ubiquitous. In other words, they must not be so common they're just found everywhere, because it becomes junk mail. So there's some great sources to compile this type of information. California Association of Realtor articles, you can rewrite them or send them as is. You can get great articles from title reps, and we can refer you to one or two that can help you with that, etc. We have some already in your online resource center you can use to get you started. You must create trust so people will refer their referrals to you. Trust is a huge issue. When you send personal, valuable information, it makes them like you and remember you. It helps build trust. Examples might be you send a client a book on a subject you know they like. If they have a sports team, they're sports fanatics, some sports memorabilia, small gifts for their children, gifts for their animals. These are personal items that are tailored to the desires of those particular people. Professional valuable information builds your image as a consummate professional. These could be articles about remodeling a kitchen, taking care of your lawn, etc. So there's two angles here, the personal and the professional, and both enhance your trustworthiness in the mind of your contacts. Valuable information and these different items make doing business more fun, but mailing and emailing do not create bonds with people. That's not to be considered, hey, I've done that, I'm going to get referrals from them. No, that's not the way it happens. They just lay the groundwork for connecting with those people in person. And when something of value is followed by connecting in person, the likelihood of a referral from that person increases by 700%, 7 times higher than just the mailing. So don't be lazy and just do these mailings and think you can sit back. Nothing will happen. You've got to follow up, talk to them on the phone, and connect with them in person. And it's the connecting in person, the field work, that makes the superstar a thriving agent. Here's an example of some valuable professional information. This is a California Association of Realtors article of how much house you can afford. So this is a great article, professionally written, that's obviously very applicable to somebody considering buying a house, or especially a trade-up buyer. They're expanding family, they want a bigger house, but how much house they can afford. So you can go on your CAR online and sign in and actually set these up so it puts your contact information on the bottom. You can see mine here on the bottom. So you can do this with your CAR membership and crank these things out, or you could just download them as is and cut and paste them into Word or create PDFs from them, etc. So CAR produces this information for us to use with our clients. So go ahead and use it. It's free. The 1, 2, 3 dialogue. The 1, 2, 3 is easy to remember. It's help, value, and referral. So those are your trigger words. Here's the dialogue. Can I help you in any way? I want you to know the value you represent to me as a client. If I could ask you, if you're thinking about moving, buying a new place or selling your existing home, or had a friend who was, do you have a real estate agent you would refer them to? I mean, somebody that you could really trust. So the bottom is the campaign dialogue, where we ask for the referral. The first two are expressing help or assistance and letting that person know that you value them. This is a great piece of dialogue that you can make variations on in an infinite number of ways by just remembering what the 1, 2, 3 stands for: help or assistance, value, and referral. So it's a triad or a triangle: help, value, and referral. That's what you need to remember, and you can word it your own way. But I would highly recommend that you first internalize the dialogue as written and then customize it after you really know it. This is dialogue for clients who you've done a transaction with, your past clients. Hi Bob, it's Scott, how are you? And then you go on and talk about subjects personal to Bob, whatever that may be: football game, their family members, Little League, etc. Obviously you know this person you've done a transaction with. You should have notes in your CRM about things that are important to that person. So you would talk about that. And then you would go on. Bob, the reason I'm calling is that I wanted you to know that even though the transaction we had together closed or has closed, I'm always available to help you if you need a referral to a contractor or something like that. And I just wanted to make sure you know how much I value you as a client. So keep in mind, just in that one little piece of dialogue there, we've hit 1 and 2, help and value. Continuing on. Bob, my business is built by taking care of people like yourself and their friends, family members, and their neighbors. So if you know someone who's looking for VIP service and is thinking about buying a new place or selling a home, I'd go out of my way to help them too. If anybody comes to mind right now, I'd be happy to follow up and take great care of them for you. You want to pause there. You don't want to just talk over your prospect. Give them an opportunity to process that, and hopefully they'll come up with somebody. And you follow up with what we call the departing dialogue. Just wanted you to know, let you know that I'm never too busy for your referrals. After mailing the information. So this is very similar to the previous dialogue, but it's just about it's a follow-up piece of dialogue after you've sent the article about remodeling a kitchen or how much home to afford, etc. Hi Bob, it's Scott, how are you? Go on to the personal conversation. Bob, the reason I'm calling is I just wanted to make sure you received that information I sent you about remodeling kitchens. I hope it was interesting. And then the rest of the dialogue is pretty much the same. Also, I'm always available to help you if you need a referral to a contractor or something like that. I just wanted to make sure you know how much I value you as a client. My business is built by taking care of people like yourself and their friends, family members, and neighbors. So if you know someone who is looking for VIP service and is thinking about buying a new place or selling a home, I'd go out of my way to help them too. If anybody comes to mind right now, I'd be happy to follow up and take great care of them for you. pause. Just wanted to let you know I'm never too busy for your referrals. This is what we call the parting or departing dialogue. Just want to let you know I'm never too busy for your referrals. You need to internalize that, or a very close variation of that dialogue. I'd like you to smile when you say it, even on the phone, because it changes your inflection. So it should be something lighthearted and subtle. It is a fundamental part of your dialogue and your repertoire, and you need to internalize it. What people must know about you is the following: who you are. You should never lose contact with your database, or they will refer your competition. You're going to end up having a lot of people, and once you have the cash flow, your assistants can help you with some of these contact actions, but people need to know who you are. So when they hear your name, they connect it to you being a real estate agent. They know what you look like, they know your name, etc. This is silly, it's fundamental, I know, but invariably people lose connection with their database, and that can't happen to a superstar agent. They're very, very good at working that database and building it day by day, week by week, month by month, year by year. Number two, they need to know what you do for a living. People forget. If you don't know them well, they'll forget you're an agent. They don't think about that on a regular basis. You need to remind them. They need to know who you are and what you do for a living. And three is, before they refer you, they need to feel they can trust you. No trust, no referral. No trust, you're dust. You need to be constantly campaigning for your business with great enthusiasm. There is a report in your online resource center under valuable information that is a great real estate report that has a lot of information derived from NAR and CAR. We want you to download that, load it on your tablet, and use it when you're connecting in person with. You could use it in drop-bys, coffee, lunches, dinners, etc. And you need to really know what's in that report, because as you have conversations with people, there may be information in that report that is relevant to them. So it's a good piece. It adds credibility to you. Let's talk about your action list about building your powerful referral network. Number one, continue uploading contacts into the CRM. We want you to get all your people in there as soon as you can. Two, start ranking them using the software, A pluses, A's, B's, C's, D's. Three, download and read the summary that's in the online resource center of Dale Carnegie's classic work, How to Win Friends and Influence People. Four, start rehearsing the dialogues with friends, spouses. If that's too uncomfortable, into a mirror. Use your cell phone. Call yourself on your cell phone and leave yourself voicemails. You can play back and hear your dialogue. It's a great technique, and most people are surprised how they sound on a phone, because who the heck calls themselves and leaves themselves messages? Real estate agents practicing. Superstars practice and refine. Amateurs don't. So we want you to start getting in the habit of not only learning these dialogues, but practicing them so they're really, really natural and they just flow. And from this training, the campaign, the 1, 2, 3, and the parting dialogue, and start using these dialogues in all of your conversations. Practice dialogues regularly. So if we're doing a live training, now is the time we're going to have you practice some of these dialogues between the other agents. Let's preview the next training, which is called Thrive by Creating Referrals. That's the call and go, the power of personal notes, the drop-by strategy and how to implement it, and introducing the entire Thrive platform and how to make it work for you. That concludes building your powerful network training. Thanks for listening.